Hi everyone, and this is going to be recorded, so if somebody wants to join late or watch it in recording, that's fine too. Okay, so let us start. What I'm going to do now, let me share my screen. And I don't really have any particular agenda today, so I will just answer your questions. But since we finished module 2, there is still some time for you to submit homework too, even though the deadline was yesterday. I think I'll extend it by a couple of days till maybe tomorrow, end of day, roughly. So you'll have a bit of time to finish it. But we are starting a new module, and there is a new homework. And so in module 2, what we did was looking at open source LLMs. So we didn't really talk much about search. But in module 3, we will talk about vector search. And we will again use Elasticsearch, because in Elasticsearch, with Elasticsearch, you can do both text search, or I think it's called correctly lexical search. And then you can also do vector search, or which is sometimes called semantic search. Right, and Elasticsearch can do both. And in module 3, we will look at how you do it with with Elasticsearch. And also we will answer the question of how to decide what is the better option. Should I go with text search? Should I go with vector search? What kind of parameters should I use? We will give the answer to this question in this unit. The answer is, of course, as always, it depends, but at least you know what it depends on, and you'll be able to have a good answer to this question after you finish this video. Okay, so this is it for the third module. So have fun. It started yesterday. The homework is already there. And now here in YouTube, you have this pinned link with questions. You can also find it here. You can click on this link, ask your questions, and I'll be answering these questions right now. So, and I already, well, please don't use live chat for questions, because for me it's very easy to lose these questions, and also it's not as organized as Slido. But I see that there is a question. Is this Zoomcamp completely related to LLM or data engineer? So as you see in the title, well, hopefully the title is correct, yes. So the title says to which Zoomcamp it's related to. It's not related to any other Zoomcamp. It's related to only one specific one, which is LLM Zoomcamp, which started not that long ago, and now we're on module 3. Okay, so we have these questions, 16 questions. So let us start. Could you record a recap video with an end-to-end project with accompanying code from ingestion to deployment? It would be a useful guide for our capstone. Maybe. We will see. Because yeah, I understand that you need to have some sort of reference code, right? Reference example. We will see if we have time. So with other projects, it's easier. With other courses, it's easier because we have run them multiple times already. And you can always go back and ask look at the projects of the previous students, right? What we did with when we ran the courses for the first time, what we did is in the first iteration, in the first attempt of the project, we selected some projects from the students, and then we invited those students to give a demo of the projects, and that was an example. So we probably will do something like this. So I cannot promise you that I'll do a full recap end to end, because we already have created a lot of content, and then creating one more video would be quite a lot. So probably we'll just ask one of you to demo their project, and then we will also show to everyone here. Okay, can we have a session recording on parsing different kind of data sources and indexing them for search engines? This helps us in getting started with project idea. So, well, there are tons and tons of different data sources, right? So we cannot really do a session on parsing different kinds of data sources because there are so many of them. So in the course, the example is rather simple because it's already parsed and it's quite structured. Then you saw a different example with Notion yesterday with DLT workshop, right? So I would rather ask you to find a dataset that you like, and if you don't know how to parse it, let's talk about this in chat, in Slack channel. But also, like I said, chat, because the other thing I had in my mind was ChatGPT. You can always talk to ChatGPT about parsing this particular data set. And this course is about LLM. It's not only about creating RAG, but also using LLM to make you more productive. That's why I highly encourage you to always try chatting with ChatGPT about whatever, anything that is related or not related to the course. And I also use it quite often, as you see, even in course videos, right? So when I don't know something, I just go to ChatGPT, ask it, get back the results, and put them in the videos. So I also want you to do this and try that if you haven't. And like for me, that was like a huge performance booster for me. Like I work much, much faster compared to me 1 year ago or like slightly more without ChatGPT. So I also want you to become more, how to say, like work faster. There is also a downside. Like I noticed that in one of the videos I recorded recently, that I didn't even look at the content that ChatGPT produced. I just copy it and paste it. So sometimes I maybe rely on it too much. So you shouldn't turn completely your brain off. But yeah, this is a super helpful thing. And what I want to say is like, if there is a data source and you're not sure how to parse it, let's discuss it in Slack, but also talk to ChatGPT about that. On the topic of LLM hallucination, RAG does not always work. What is the future of LLMs? And do you think the issue of LLM hallucination can be 100% solved? Well, I don't know. Like I don't have like this magic ball that helps me see the future. Um, I think it will be. I'm not sure if it will be completely solved, because from what I see from talking to ChatGPT, you always need to double check it. But this is a good thing, right? It means that we humans are still useful, right? Because if it would be 100% correct all the time, then we humans wouldn't be useful, right? When it comes to RAG, of course, you want your chatbot to be accurate. So I don't know about that. But still, frequent checks will help, like sampling data and seeing, tuning the prompt. But I don't think the way it works, I don't think there is a 100% solution. But I might be wrong, and maybe there is a small startup somewhere in France or China or I don't know, somewhere they work on this problem, and in 2 months, 3 months, we will know that there is like 100% solution. So we'll see. We live in fun times, so I'm sure something interesting will happen soon, and which will solve all our problems. Maybe create new ones, but yeah, it's fun times. Can you provide an idea of the costs involved in implementing an LLM solution, whether using open source or proprietary system licenses, recurring costs? Okay, so we will have a special unit on costs in the best practices model. Also, when you did your first homework, where it is. This is the homework. So here, one of the questions here was about calculating the costs. So it should give you some ideas on how to estimate the cost for if you use like OpenAI. So that's one thing. Then, like when it comes to open source, depends on how you cost it. If you want to deploy it yourself, then you also should factor in the costs of not only the hardware, but also people who maintain it. And then it becomes cheaper only at a certain scale. So don't think like using open source automatically makes it cheaper. Sometimes it can be even more expensive, depending on how exactly you deploy it, of course. So the recurring cost would be like the staff, right? The people who maintain it. Not only for deploying, but also in general for your LLM system. And then depending on what you use for your database. So there are many vendors, vector databases or Elasticsearch. You can also use it as a service. Like there is also some cost to that. So it also depends. So you need to think about these things. So LLM, cost of the storage, and cost of the people who maintain all that, right? And then if you put everything together for 1 month, you can calculate the cost. But like if you want some numbers from me, like I don't have numbers right now. So it depends on so many things like your traffic, yeah, and other requirements. I want to use LLM to interview candidates. Will I get good results if I fine tune an film based on what? Will I get good results if I fine tune an LLM? Probably not film based on interview questions. Yeah, I know that there are startups that actually do that, and they are quite successful. So there was, I don't remember the name. So there was a company. What they did is they interviewed, so they created mock interviews. So you could chat with their chatbot and see what are your weak points. But right now, I think if you just open ChatGPT and play a bit with prompts, you can get by quite far there with just ChatGPT, let alone fine tuning. So I'm sure you can do it quite well. So yeah, just I would say experiment and see, and I think you can build quite a good bot for this kind of things, because like when it comes to GPT-4, they're very good when it comes to technical stuff. So I haven't personally tried fine tuning, so I cannot cover that part. But yeah, I am pretty sure you'll find a way to do this. For RAG, context is needed. The course docs are Python files. Will responses be valid and match the contents if my prompt is incomplete? So I'm trying to understand like how this part is related to this part. The course docs are Python files. Will responses be valid and match? I mean, if your prompt is incomplete, then like I don't know. Probably just see. I wouldn't expect a miracle from LLM, so you should have a prompt, right? A good prompt, and if you don't have a good prompt, you probably won't have good results, right? Garbage in, garbage out. For RAG, context is needed. Yes, this is correct. Course docs are Python files. I don't know what to do with this statement. Yeah, like are you referring to our course? Is it something that related to the project you're thinking about? I don't know. I'm interested to deploy my capstone project in a public domain. Could you suggest some cost-free domains to look into? You probably mean that you want to make it publicly accessible, right? So what you need to think about are three things, right? The first is how you keep your data, right? So you need to have a storage. You probably can get some free storage in AWS or free tier. I think that with DynamoDB you can get some free if volume is not too high. Probably you can store some data in Dynamo. I'm not sure how you would retrieve it. So you actually need like a proper search. I'm just brainstorming right now. So Dynamo probably is not a good thing. So good solution for this, which means yeah, you'll probably need to look at vendors. Many vendors provide some trial or free tier version. So when it comes to Elasticsearch, they have a trial, but it only lasts for 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, you can use it for free, but then you'll have to pay. There are some vendors like vector databases that with small load, you can use their free tier, which will make it free forever if you like forever until they change it, of course, for like small load projects. So check some of, I don't know, Quadrant, VV8, Zelis, what else? Like there's a bunch of them. Check them out. Then also, that's one thing. And also you can use something like min search. If your data set is small, you can simply host it in memory. So you don't need to actually have a proper storage, right? So then like if your database is small, then you can keep it in memory using something like min search or like in this homework 3, we also develop an in-memory search database or search engine, right? So for small things, it will work. Then the other price component is an LLM or another piece of the puzzle is an LLM. And with things like Grok, you can also get them for free, right? So if you don't have high load, then Grok is free with rate limits, of course. And then the third thing is, okay, first thing is database, the second thing is the LLM, and the third thing, the actual thing that glues everything together. So something that goes to the database, gets the context, builds the prompt, sends it to the LLM, gets back the response and display it. This is something we did with, here we did, where it is, we use Streamlit, right? Here, UI for RAG. So then for Streamlit, I think you can deploy one Streamlit app for free, which can do that, right? So then this is how you can do this. Like then you would deploy it in Streamlit. And then like there are other ways where you can deploy also, like if you want for free or cheaply, like you can look at AWS Lambda or alternatives, right? So maybe you can create a Flask application and you can get a small instance on AWS for $3 per month where you can host this Flask application. Right. So maybe just like you can tell what exactly you have in mind, what kind of data set you have, how you want to display, like what kind of the interface you want to have for this, and then we can think how exactly you can deploy it cheaply or for free. And like I don't know what you mean by domains, but usually there's some URL that you can use. Why is the project evaluated by peers? What happens if any of my peers is being unfair in the process, in the review process? So the reason that the projects are evaluated by peers is because there are too many of you. The course team cannot evaluate your projects, right? So we are making this course for free. So you're not paying us anything, only your time, of course, which is also very valuable. But yeah, this does not scale. Like we cannot evaluate all your projects. It's just humanly impossible, right? Even if it's just 10 of the students who take the project, then it means that for me, I would have to evaluate 10 projects, which already would take me too much time, right? That's why we use the peer evaluation process, and it works really, really well. So we have been doing this for, I think it's 4th year. Yeah, like it will be 4th time we run ML Zoomcamp this autumn, this fall. So, and we use peer review ever since we started doing courses, and it works really, really well, right? And what I mean by that is in general, most of the time, the scores you get from peers are fair, and it may happen that one of your peers, for some reasons, decides to give you an unfair score, but the other two will give you a good score, right? Will give you a fair score. And the way we combine the scores will make sure that at the end you will get the fair score. Also, it has not happened yet, but it might happen. It's not improbable that all of your peers give you unfair score. Then we can solve it on case-by-case basis by simply discussing it in Slack, right? So just ask about that in the channel, share your project, and we will look at the project and see if the score you got from your peers is fair or not. What happened in the past? Sometimes students say, hey, I got unfair score. I look at the project and I see that the score is actually fair, right? It has happened too. So this is how we resolve these issues. And don't worry, we have done this many times. It works really well. And also, for you, it's an extra possibility to learn something new. So you can, depending on how much time and effort you are willing to put into this, of course. But when you evaluate your peers, you will learn a lot because every data set, every project is a little bit different, even though we all follow the same course, but at the end, the projects will be different. And you'll see the problems that the people come across and the way they solve it and how they approach that. And by doing this, by reviewing them, you will learn a lot. So, yeah. In summary, this will not happen, but if it does, we will solve it in case-by-case basis. Will the week 3 homework have more time? No. Why? Why it should? So far, this course has been educative. Thank you, Alexei. Yeah, you're welcome. I often wonder how much different is Gen AI from other forms of AI that do not necessarily generate novel content. It depends what you mean by AI, right? So AI is kind of hype. So people also these days, when they say AI, they might mean machine learning, right? Which usually like is more predictive than generative, right? So you have a customer and you want to find out what's the probability that this customer will churn, right? If this is what you mean, then yeah, machine learning has a lot of its uses. But yeah, probably maybe you can make it a bit more specific. What do you mean by other forms of AI? Yeah, then I can try to answer that. Any book recommended? Like, please check your questions. Like, I don't understand what you mean. Also, yeah, like my brain breaks when I try to parse this sentence. Any book recommended? Also, tell how can we implement? I think there are two questions. If I have any books to recommend, right? And please next time use punctuations, or like if there are two questions, break them into two questions. So I don't have any book recommendations. And can we implement research papers in this Zoom camp? You can implement research papers. It's not something we plan in the syllabus. It's not something we will have in the syllabus. This is not a research. So we're not focusing on research. We focus on engineering aspects, but you can implement a research paper and share the results with us by all means. Please do this. Oops. I think I accidentally marked one of the questions as resolved. Let me see what I did. Can I? Oh, great. Or it didn't work. Hey, where did it go? Okay. Maybe this is the one, right? What are the other upcoming courses after LLM Zoomcamp? So we have our datatalks.club. This is the page, the web page for the community, and we have this courses link. Click on that link, and there is a page that describes all the courses we have. So far, there are 5 of them, and you can see when the next one starts. So the next one will be Machine Learning Zoomcamp, which starts in September. Then I think this one is, so usually they start all the courses we have, they start at the same month. So it's September, January, and May. And every year they start at the same time. So like when it comes to Data Engineering Zoomcamp, it's January 2025, MLOps Zoomcamp, May 2025. So I don't know if Ivan will continue with the course. I think he will. So probably it will be April 2025. And for this one, I am pretty certain we will run it again in a year. So June 2025. So yeah, we don't have any other courses so far. Maybe we will. Magdalena and I were at some point talking about a DevOps course, maybe, but nothing concrete yet. And I think probably the next iteration of LLM Zoomcamp will be slightly different because it's the first time we're on it. We need to figure out a few things, and also this field is changing so much. So I think the next time we run it, it will be different. Unfortunately, I could not finish my homework 1 yet. Can I do it now? Yes, you can, of course, but you will not be able to submit it because the form is closed. And when the form is closed, you will not be able to submit and get the scores. But it does not mean you cannot do it. You should do it. You should learn because this is how you. So you watch some content, the video, right? And how do you make sure you actually understood the content? Well, one of the things, or possible things, is doing the homework and see if you can do this. Also, homeworks, they give a little bit extra materials. At least I try to do this. It's not always possible, but I try to give a little bit more. So then also when you do homework, you learn something new. So for example, for this, for this model for open source, we saw how to integrate a model inside a Docker image, right? In the third module, we will implement vector search ourselves, right? So this is a bit extra. And even if the form is already closed, even if you are late, I encourage you to still do the homework and just then check the solution and see if you got it correct or not. You will not get any points, but like who cares? Because at the end, all you need to do in order to get a certificate is pass a project, right? So homeworks are only optional. Is it still time to join the LLM Zoomcamp? Yes. Will many LLM materials or best practices now get outdated in 1 to 2 years? Well, I'm afraid the materials we have will get outdated. Some of them will get outdated in like by the time course finishes, because like this changes so quickly. So yes, I'm pretty sure many things will get outdated. But the technologies we use here, they are, so for example, Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch hasn't changed significantly in like last 5 years. So text search 5 years ago and text search now are similar. Of course, they are becoming better, but like when it comes to the main concepts, it's the same. Then when it comes to vector search in Elastic, also probably it will stay the same. So many things, and it's also one of the reasons why we chose these technologies and this way of doing it. They will probably stay more or less the same, right? But for example, when it comes to module 6, the best practices, I'm sure we will have to re-record it. And probably other things. Like for example, right now we will, for evaluation, we'll use RAGs, but maybe in a couple of months, everyone will use something else for evaluating RAG, right? Then we will need to adapt and redo this. So I'm sure that some things will change quite soon. And also when it comes to our course, we'll have to probably keep updated more often than I'm sure for the next iteration we will need to change some things. Is week 3 lessons and homework supposed to be difficult? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, I did not make the homework difficult intentionally. So no, they're not supposed to be difficult, but they might be difficult for you. It's totally fine if they are. And yeah, like I don't even know what to answer. Like, if you're stuck with something and if you find something difficult, there is always Slack where you can ask things and we will be happy to clarify, right? So please use this option. When is the course going to end? Good question. Let me see. So far, so we will probably, because we have now this workshop, we will need to move homework 4 a bit, which means that homework 5 and homework 6 will move too. And then for the projects, we have 2 weeks for working on the project and 1 week for evaluating, and we do it 2 times. So it's 6 weeks after the last homework, right? So you can do some math, and probably right now, what do we have? So by the end of summer, probably it should finish. That's more or less it, right? We also have a competition, by the way, so don't forget about that. So competition actually finishes where it is, yeah, this competition page. So it should finish September the 1st, right? So like the competition, I think the course will also wrap up by the time the competition finishes. So yeah, that's my rough estimate. It might take a little bit longer, but like the important part, and we also like since we're recording the content, we need some flexibility, right? So that's why we might postpone, maybe extend some stuff, some weeks, some modules. But yeah. So the important thing is for the projects, there are 2 attempts. And even if it happens, then one of the project attempt happens during your holiday. So you'll be on holiday and you know that you will not be able to work on the project. You come back from the holiday, from your vacation, and then you work on attempt number 2. Or you can start already working on your project now and then submit when you come back, whatever, right? So we have enough flexibility. Seems like there is no submission link for the capstone, only homeworks. When is the capstone deadline? I think I just told you that. So I haven't created projects yet on the platform, but eventually it will happen. Can I create a RAG system with Lava? Is it Llama or Lava? That uses 2 separate datasets, one for image similarity analysis and another for text similarity analysis. Let me check what Lava is. Okay, yeah, so it's not Llama, it's Lava, right? Well, I guess you can, because there is Lava. And what you can also do, GPT can describe an image, right? And then, for example, maybe you can ask for images. You can ask GPT to describe an image, and then you store the text and use that for your RAG, right? That's one thing. Another thing is there is a clip open, which you can also use, right? So you can generate embeddings for images, generate embeddings for your text using clip, and store that in vector database, and then using your search query, retrieve that. And then let's say if you have some text description of your image, then you can also use it in your RAG, right? Like even without Lava, you can do it. But yeah, this is the first time I come across this thing. How hard is this course if you finish data engineering Zoomcamp? Please let us know when you finish this course and tell us how hard it is. Because like for me, it's hard to tell. Some people said it's easier, right? So one of the students said, it's so easy, like it was so difficult with other courses, and this feels like a breeze. But you might be different. Maybe for you, this course is difficult and others were easy. I don't know. Are there any books or advanced readings recommended when the lessons for week 6 are not uploaded yet? Well, module 3 is already uploaded. I don't know books or advanced readings. This is new, and we record videos based on our experience and documents, of course. So it's not like there is a book and we record materials based on the book. No, it's not how it happens. So I don't have any specific recommendations. It doesn't mean that there are no good resources on the internet. There are tons and tons and tons of resources. You just need to know what you look for. And I guess this is what you're asking, right? But let's say where is, right? So monitoring and guardrails, right? So you can just use your favorite search engine to look things up, right? And then I'm sure you'll find many, many good things. Yeah. What is the date for DLT workshop? Yesterday? I think maybe this question was asked some time ago. I have access issue for this Google Colab. Okay, let me check. I hope it's something safe for work. I'll stop sharing my screen. Oops. Okay. Well, yeah, but like what if happens if I do this? Oh, okay. This is what you need to do. Yeah. So it was shared as a Drive link, but you need to do it like that. Where did you find this link? So maybe let's talk about this in Slack. Maybe I need to update the link somewhere. How many hours per module week is the course expected to take for someone without much practical experience with the relevant tools? I don't know, 5 to 10 hours. Just so you see it faster, there is a missing H at the end of. Okay, thank you. I will not. Oops. Okay, I'll just take a note. So what I wanted to do is like not remove it from here. If we can suggest a new course, can we get something around large image models or computer vision, please? We don't plan to have new courses. Even for LLM, it took some time before we thought, okay, now we are ready to make a course. Because like these things change so quickly. But definitely, like what we can do maybe is a workshop around some topics like agents or image models, whatever. If you have something more specific, like not just something around large image models, but like specifically what do you want to have? And if we have this expertise or can find somebody with this expertise, then we can definitely organize something. Not a course, I cannot promise you a course, but maybe a workshop. And Slack, the course channel, would be the right place for discussing this. Can we do this course in our own time, like self-paced? And if so, what will we lose versus doing the course with deadlines? You can definitely do this. The course materials will stay there. We will not remove them. We might update them with new materials. But typically when we do this, we still keep the old videos, right? So all the materials will stay there. So the only thing you will lose is, well, it's actually multiple things. So the main thing you will lose is doing it with other people. So when you get stuck, other people are working on the same module right now with you. So it's likely that you will receive help. Also, I'm monitoring. The course team is monitoring the module like this, the Slack channels. So you will get help from the community, from us, right? If you do this at your own pace, and later, like 4 months later, you have an issue, and I will be busy with some other course, and no other community members are active there right now, it can happen that you will not get support. Luckily, we have bots in our community that can help, but I cannot guarantee you that you will get support of the cohort time, right? You can still do it at your own pace. But actually, like these times with ChatGPT, like I think you can find a solution to any problem. But anyways, this is what you lose, the community aspect and the support. Support is, let's say, less guaranteed outside of the cohort time. And the second thing you lose is certificate. So if you don't submit a project, then you will not. So you need to submit a project as a part of the cohort, then you will receive the certificate. Otherwise, you will not. And then maybe also a third thing is deadlines help you stick to the course. And if you don't have deadlines, at least this is how it works for me. If I don't have deadlines, I start slacking, right? And I think, okay, I'll do it some other day. So deadlines actually help me. So yeah, but totally possible. Do it at your own time. Take your time. Like maybe you need more time for each module than a week that we have here. It's totally okay. And with what I said, with less support and so on, if you feel this is for you, just do it. And don't hesitate to ask for help if you get stuck, because somebody might be around, and maybe I am free to answer your questions. Was Elasticsearch a popular and useful tool to have in tech resumes even before ChatGPT existed and AI were overhyped? So, like, I don't like this part about tech CVs. Elasticsearch was and still is a useful tool for search, right? And yeah, it was useful before ChatGPT, and now with ChatGPT, it's still useful. So, like, whether it was useful to have it on your CV or not, I am not sure, because, like, to me, having a technology on CV by itself is kind of pointless, right? The important part is solving a business problem with a particular tool, right? And then I would focus more on showing what you solve with this tool rather than the tool itself. I hope I'm making sense, right? So yeah, when it comes to the tool, it has been useful and it still is, and it will be. And it's based on Apache Lucene, and Lucene is like 20 years old. It's time proven. It's really battle tested in production by so many companies, and yeah, its performance is great, right? When it comes to text search, Elasticsearch, Solr, and other Lucene-based search engines, they work really nice. Specifically diffusion model, a workshop on diffusion models. Thanks, Alexei. That's probably related to these image models. Workshop on diffusion models. Yeah, like the only thing I know about diffusion models is how you pull a model from Hugging Face and how you generate an image of a dragon or dinosaur. This is what I did for a course for our machine learning Zoomcamp. We had a data set where you needed to predict whether this image is a dinosaur or a dragon. I don't think this is very useful for a workshop. But like if there is somebody, if I come across somebody who can give a proper talk about that in the workshop, definitely we can do that. It's the first time I come across this amazing channel. Where do you suggest to start off? By channel, you probably mean this Datadogs Club channel, right? So if we talk about the course, there is a link in the description. You click on that link and here you go. This is where you start. There is a pull request. So this is where you start. You just scroll down and all these blue things are clickable. You click on them, you go into the modules content, and this is how you follow the course. Like there's a bunch of videos. Yeah, right now we are on module 3, which is vector databases and vector search. Yeah. Did you use LLM to build and train the Slack bots for Q&A? Yes. It wasn't me specifically. It was so for the Q&A bot, it was Alex Litvinov, and we have a video from him. How to build an LLM-powered QA bot. So here Alex explains how the Zoomcamp Q&A bot was built. Right, and yeah, it used an LLM, as you can guess from the title. So yeah, cool. So no more questions. I'll quickly stop sharing before new questions appear. Because yeah, well, of course, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. I'll probably cover these questions next time when we do office hours. So thanks a lot for your questions. It has been fun. So keep them coming and enjoy the module number 3. And if you have any suggestions, any comments, anything you notice, just let's talk about that in Slack and have fun. So right now the plan for this week and next week is vector search module and what else? The DLT workshop, right? So you have these 2 things, and this is what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks, right? So the homework for module 3 will end sometime next Monday. So you'll have a bit of time to also spend to watch the DLT video and do the homework. And I see that there is I'll share my screen because why not? Wing, thank you for the lessons. No additional questions here. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, that's all for today. So enjoy the rest of your day and see you around. And